עבדים היינו לפרעה במצרים, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, עבדים היינו, אתה בני חורין, tell the story to your children. Slaves in Egypt were we, but God gave strength to Moshe Rabbeinu, and now our people are free, and now our people are free. Ata b'nei chorin, ata b'nei chorin,
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. I'm Rabbi Barry, Silver with Congregation Va-Dor. It's my great pleasure to welcome you to this last Shabbat before Passover, in which we celebrate Shabbat but also remember the joy of freedom that we experience at this time. You might wonder, why is it that I have my matzah tie on? This is because Passover is the season where we remember our ties to our people from thousands of years ago, and each one of us is supposed to think of ourselves as if we personally were freed from Egypt. In this way, we can truly appreciate the joy of freedom. That's why we started out with Avadim Hayinu. We were slaves. That was the opening song. We must imagine that we were slaves to experience the great gift of freedom that we enjoy in this country that we too often take for granted. We're very fortunate to have the candle blessing led for us by Rose Lopater, who provides such wonderful music for us as our cantorial soloist, and the Kiddush will be offered by Sandy Lopater, her husband, who's our president, who has led our congregation for so many years. We thank Sandy for liberating us from enslavement to a building where we had to pay rent but could not meet. Now we are free to find a better place, to build back better, and perhaps to find a sanctuary that can be shared with others, other Jews, other organizations, perhaps even other religions, in order to create a sanctuary for all humanity, where we can do what our ancestors dreamed of, bring all people of all walks of life and all backgrounds together under one roof. And now let the celebrations begin.
Shalom, everyone. I hope this Shabbat finds you all well. And I'm thinking of all of you and miss you very much. And hope to see you at the Schmooze on Fridays at 8 o'clock. As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we by our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own way, be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu v'mitzvotav v'tzivanu le'adlikner shel Shabbat. May we be blessed with joy. May we be blessed with light. May we be blessed with peace.
Good evening, everyone. Shabbat Shalom. I am so glad you are able to join us for tonight's Shabbat celebration. The beginning of Shabbat is marked by reciting a benediction sanctifying the day, Kiddush means sanctification. It is the prayer recited over the wine through which Jews proclaim the uniqueness of Shabbat. Sweet wine has long been used to make Shabbat just a little sweeter. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei pari hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kadisho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lama'aseh barehi ki hu yom techila lamikra hekodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta, v'yotanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kadshecha, v'yahava uvratzon, hinchaltanu, Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה? מי כמוך נדן בקודש? מה נשתנה? הלילה Seder. It seems like we'll never be done. There's more to clean than can ever be cleaned. Grab a candle and search for the crumbs. When the Seder table is ready and all the chametz has been found, our family arrives and the sun leaves the sky. At the table we'll gather around the Seder tonight. Passover retold with our prayers of hope, thanking God above. Making threats, Moses, you dare. Your days of making Jews your slaves are done forevermore. And if you challenge God's in place, we'll shake you to your core. I'm telling you, you'd best listen to me, or God will bring your kingdom to its knees. It's time to let my people go, you see, 'cause we just can't wait. For 8 nights and days, we're eating the matzah, so put that bread away. We had to hurry from the land we were slaves, so I'm eating a matzah.
And who doesn't love some good matzah?
What's a matzah?
Nothing. What's the matter with you?
We had to hurry from the land we were slaves. So we're chametz free. Culinarily, we're eating the matzah. And the Seder
As we now continue with some of the traditional prayers from Judaism at this Passover season, prayers of thanksgiving. We give thanks for friends and family. This holiday is associated with family. Rather than in a synagogue, we celebrate with our family in the home. As we emerge from this pandemic, hopefully before too long, let us reconnect better than ever before and strengthen the love between us, our friends, and our families.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Vaed. Baruch Shem Kevod Malachuto Leolam Vaed.
ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לעוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם. אדוני אלוהיכם, emet.
מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. Your mercies never fail us, your hesed never ceases, for your wonders and good deeds we give thanks to you. Our soul in your safekeeping, our lives in your hands, oh my rock and my shield, for all that you do. מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לעולם ועד. מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו, מודים אנחנו לך, מודים אנחנו לך. You give our thanks to you, O Lord our God, and lift our voice in song. מודים אנחנו לך, שאתה הוא אדוני, אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו לשלום.
Some of the greatest athletes tell us that the reason why they're able to accomplish their great feats of dexterity and perform at such a high level is because of practice. And so we practice Judaism in order to get used to expressing thanks and appreciation. They also tell us that they spend moments of silent reflection before the big match, thinking, imagining how they want to perform, how they want to hit that tennis ball, how they want to take that jump shot, how they want to do that golf swing. And they imagine perfection in their mind, and that helps them to come closer to achieving it in the real world. That's why we engage in silent meditation, take a few moments to reflect on how we could be if we were performing at our highest level as human beings, and how this world could be if it actually one day were able to realize the dreams and the hopes of our prophets and our sages. Let us spend now a few moments in silent meditation and also hopes for a speedy recovery to all of those who are ailing.
May the source of strength, oh bless the ones before us. Help us find the courage to make our life a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
כי מציון תצא תורה, כי מציון תצא תורה, ודבר אדוני מירושלים. ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, ברוך שנתן תורה תורה, לעמו ישראל בקדושתו.
Our Torah reading this Shabbat is from the book of Leviticus. It describes the sacrifices of thanksgiving and of wellness that our ancestors gave in order to show appreciation for the gifts that they had received. Baruch hu et Adonai hamavarach, Baruch Adonai hamvarach l'olam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. In this passage, we learn about Torat Zavach. Torah is a Hebrew word that means teaching. It's actually related to the word moreh, which is a teacher. Before there was the Torah, there were many, many, many teachings of different things within the Torah itself. The Torah came to be known as the Torah, or the teaching, over many, many centuries. Here we have the teaching surrounding, or the laws surrounding, offerings to show appreciation for the gifts that we've received. V'zot Torat Zavach Hashlamim Asher Yakriv Ladonai. This is the Torah, or the teaching, of the offerings of peace and gratitude that you shall bring to the Lord. Im al todah yakrivenu v'hikriv al zavach hatodah. In order to show your appreciation for what you have, you shall make an offering of thanksgiving. Chalot, matzot, belulot, v'shemen, urakike matzot, meshochim, b'shemen. You shall offer up 2 loaves of bread soaked in oil to show your thanks. V'sulach, mukevet, chalot, belulot, b'shemen. And also flat, unleavened bread. And you shall also serve it or offer it with boiled flour. Al chalot lechem chametz yakriv kirbano al zavach todah. You shall also offer bread that is not unleavened, but challahs, 2 challahs you shall give in order to show thanks to the Lord. Shalamim v'takriv mimeno echad mikol kariv truma ladonai. This is done in order to try to elevate you to a divine level so you can come closer to the Lord. The kohen tizrok et dam hashlamim. And the priests, who unfortunately are always dealing with blood, shall sprinkle some blood upon the altar. And this sacrifice that you make shall belong to them, and they shall be able to distribute it for their upkeep and also to the poor. Adonai uvasal zavach techiyeh shlamav bayom kirveno ye'achol lo bayom ad haboker. And you shall consume all of these offerings within that same day, and not wait until the morning, so that all may enjoy the benefits of your good fortune. The blessing after the Torah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu torat emet, v'chai olam nata b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Amen. There was once a man lamenting his impoverished childhood. He said, "We were so poor, we couldn't even afford virgin olive oil. We had to get the olive oil that had fooled around a little bit." In this passage, we read about pure olive oil that is used as part of the sacrificial system to show appreciation for what we have. This is a good thing to do. All of us should try to appreciate what we have. That is not only good for others to whom we are indebted, it also makes us happy when we appreciate what we have. The word olive is very interesting. The last 4 letters are live, and that's how we can truly live, by expressing thanks. Also, it has the word love in it, which is the whole goal and the purpose behind being Jewish. But if you take the word olive and you read it backwards, you see the first 4 letters, or the last 4, spell evil. I like to think perhaps that's because the sacrificial system was an evil. And if we go backwards in time, we will continue that evil. But if we move forwards, we can liberate ourselves at this holiday of liberation from all this preoccupation with blood and sacrifice. Sadly, my friends, we are still shedding blood today. Not only in the way we treat animals, but the way we treat people. We elevate the gun to such high status that we are sacrificing an entire generation of children, many of whom have fallen victim in Newtown and Parkland and other places to gun violence. But the entire generation has been sacrificed because they now must live in fear. They have grown up in a world where they don't know if they're going to go shopping or to a movie theater or to school or to a sanctuary, whether that day may be the last. What a horrible thing to do to our children. We say that we have the right in America to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. All of those can be taken away in an instant by a maniac who has easy access to the most deadly weapons. This is horrible that our lives should be dependent on the whim of people who have no control over themselves and can wreak havoc by dozens of people within seconds. We have sacrificed our freedom and our basic rights to the gun and to the NRA, which should stand for not respectable anymore. And we should do a background check not only before people can buy a gun, but a background check before someone should be able to enter Congress. And if they're taking money from people with blood on their hands, they should be disqualified. Yes, my friends, we suffer many plagues in this country today. The plagues of gun violence, of racism, as we see Asian women targeted. And how preposterous that people would say, gee, I don't know if he was targeting Asian women. We'll have to investigate. He drove miles and miles and miles to find a place that was called Asian Women and targeted Asians at different places. How absurd is it that we don't realize what is going on? Yes, we also have some horrible plagues dealing with immigration. We're plagued with a policy that makes no sense. We must figure out how to approach this rationally by getting both political parties together. And instead of scoring points, try to figure out a way to do justice for the immigrant, but also to protect our borders so that our country has as a nation of laws. If we all work together, we could do this. We could figure out a way to transcend some of these plagues. How will that be done? How can this be accomplished? My friends, we must stop just talking about prayers and thoughts, but take action. And the type of action we must take must be strong, concerted change. Changing the law is important and necessary, but what we really need is a spiritual transformation, so we no longer look at each other as if we are at war with each other. No longer subject our children to these vicious, vile, violent, vituperative, vulgar video games in which a gun is fun and to maim is a game and killing is thrilling and you're scored points by how many people you can massacre. Away with these games. They should be banned. They are dangerous. When you combine that with alienation and with easy access to guns, it's totally predictable. People say, oh, this is an act of senseless violence. Who can understand it? How can we not understand it? How can we expect anything different when we subject our children to such violent forces? We need a spiritual transformation, and the Jewish people must lead it. And first we must unite and galvanize our people together and transcend our trivial differences over what rituals we're going to carry out and start getting to the spiritual and the important point of being Jewish, to transform this world so that we can now have a world where guns no longer exist in society. Yes, I know that's radical. I know people are going to say, what? You're opposed to guns? Yes, I confess, I admit it. I don't like guns. And perhaps it's because I'm Jewish and we were commanded to beat their swords into plowshares and their spears into pruning hooks. Yes, I admit it. I want to move towards a world without guns, because that is what our people have believed is how we should progress as a society. And before you tell me that this is impossible and it can't be done, remember the words of the founders of Israel, who were told that the founding of Israel and the reestablishment of Hebrew as a spoken language couldn't be done. Im tirtzu en zo agada. If you will it, it's no dream. And remember the words of Ben-Gurion, who said that in Israel, to be a realist, you first must believe in miracles. That's what it means to be Jewish. To believe that even though right now we are wandering in the wilderness, we have the capacity to reach a promised land. And we can do that when we get out of our rut, out of our comfort zone, and are willing to take a risk and to leave. The Jews wanted to go back to Egypt, many of them. But some, like Joshua and Caleb, said, Yachol nuchala, we can and we shall overcome. As we emerge from this pandemic and the pandemics of gun violence and racism, and of the worst of all, of apathy and cynicism, let us say, Yachol nuchala, we shall overcome. We can quarantine hate. We can be super spreaders of love and hope and courage. Let us use this passage of Tzav to remind us that in order to properly give thanks for the blessings of liberty, which we celebrate at Passover, we have to meditate and contemplate how can we use the blessing of liberty to create a better life for ourselves and others and a better world. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach, Happy Passover.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כיי ארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו echad.
And now, sadly, our nation must collectively recite the Kaddish once again, not just for our own loved ones and friends whose anniversary of whose departure occurs these days or those recently taken from us, but as a nation, we recall once again the tragedy of gun violence and those who were gunned down recently in Atlanta and in Colorado. As we gather these people together in our thoughts and our prayers, let us never be content with mere thoughts and prayers, but let this spur us to action, to collectively insist and demand that our country take radical change and action in order to end the scourge of gun violence. It will not be done by incremental measures. Let the Kaddish remind us that those who perish should not have died in vain, that their memory should be a blessing as we learn from our mistakes and make sure that we change the laws and change the hearts in our country so that we will not have to continuously recite Kaddish for those who are the most recent victims of gun violence. Yiskedal v'yiskedash Shemer Rabba. V'yalma divrach ruseh v'yamlich ma'chuseh. V'chayechon v'yomechon. Uv'chayedu chol beis Yisrael. V'agala v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shemer Rabba mivorach la'olam ulmei u'maya. Yisparach v'yistabach v'yispoar v'yisromam v'yisnaseh. V'yisadar v'yisaleh v'yisalal Shemer Kedusha Berechu. Le'elam enko b'rchasa v'shirasa. Tishbechasa v'nechamasa. Ta'amichon b'yoma v'yimru amen. Yehi shlam araba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yalkol Yisrael v'yimru amen. May the source of peace and comfort bring peace and comfort to all who mourn. And let us remember those who are no longer sitting around the Passover table with us. Let us be inspired by their loving memory in order to elevate ourselves to achieve all that they dreamed and hoped that we could be. And let us perpetuate their hopes and dreams for this world in our lives as well. Amen.
Thank you so much for joining in on our Shabbat and Pre-Passover celebration today. Shabbat Shalom to one and all. We hope that you've enjoyed our service so far, and we wish you all a Zizim Pesach, a sweet Passover. Rabbi Barry Silver and Lador Va-Dor are working to build the Judaism of tomorrow today that will bring Jews of all denominations, backgrounds, and beliefs together in unity and harmony. We offer a Judaism that is based on rational thought, intellect, reason, and science. We hope that you'll join with us, become a member, and support our goals. This could be the Judaism to bring shalom and peace to our world. Please consider our offer and find out more about Lador Va-Dor through our website, ladorvador.org, our Facebook page, our YouTube channel, and our email newsletters. What's going on with Lador Va-Dor? Tomorrow morning, Saturday, March 27th at 10:30 a.m., we will hold our more traditional Shabbat morning service, Siddur Essentials, on Zoom, led for us by educator and cantorial soloist Andrew Sussman, along with Rabbi Barry and Rose Lopater. We welcome one and all to enjoy this special Shabbat service, see what it's all about, and obtain some insight into our Shabbat traditions and prayers. You can enjoy the service via your computer, your tablet, or even from your phone. We hope that you'll participate in our next Chat with Two Rabbis this Tuesday evening, March 30th at 7 p.m. with Rabbi Barry and our guest, Orthodox Rabbi Zvi Khan. This weekly program is offered on Zoom and can also be enjoyed through your phone. We invite you to join us and learn more about the Torah and any other topics that are discussed from 2 points of view. Join in on our get-together, Zoom and Schmooze tonight at 8 p.m., where we get to enjoy each other face-to-face virtually and continue our Shabbat celebration together with music, song, and discussion. Passover begins tomorrow evening, Saturday, and ends on the evening of Sunday, April 4th. We wish all of you a beautiful, enjoyable, and sweet Passover. Shabbat Shalom with love from Va-Dor, and we wish you a great holiday and a great week ahead.
Yivarechacha Adonai v'yishmarecha. May you be blessed and preserved with good health. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'choneka. May the light of love and family affection shine upon you always. Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May you be lifted up by the power of love and come to appreciate and enjoy the gifts of freedom and make this the best year ever. Amen.
I think about that day when the entire Jewish nation puts their bread away. There's so much to clean, but when the holiday is through, I'll be upset that time just flew. I think that bread is new. Springtime Seder nights, we'll sink into our seats to learn about our nation's plight and celebrate our freedom and our crossing of the sea. God called us to be on His team. Whoa, buy one, get one free. Without a nickel to our names, kosher food, free of rain. All these prices just insane, but gluten-free. Cause once we reach that Seder night and satiate our appetites, we'll realize that our birthright is quite the story. Grab a car, there's lots of left and right, and all the kinds of wine you like. And when the sun goes down, our families gather round. A people so renowned, and it's a Passover is done. I hear them every day. My wife and all my kin are telling me I'm going gray. But little do they know it's from the yearly heap of chores. She tells me that there's always more. So I'm back here at the store, and even when mom answers no, or when the Seder's moving slow, my macaroons and crispy oats are all I need. And when we're all engaged in song of generations going strong, that'll be the thing to push us on and go, go. Grab a car, there's lots of left and right, and all the kinds of wine you like. And when the sun goes down, our families gather round. A people so renowned, and it's a Passover is done. And when the sun goes down, our families gather round. That's how Passover is. It's a Passover is done. 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 Preparations have begun. It's a Passover is done. Oi, 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 and it's a Passover is done. I think about that day when the entire Jewish nation puts their bread away. There's so much to clean, but when the holiday is through, I'll be upset that time just flew. I think that bread is new. Springtime Seder nights, we'll sink into our seats to learn about our nation's plight and celebrate our freedom and our crossing of the sea. God called us to be on His team. Oh, buy one, get one free.
Without a nickel to our names, kosher food free of rain. All these prices just insane, but gluten-free.
Cause once we reach that Seder night and satiate our appetites, we'll realize that our birthright is quite the story. Grab a car, there's lots of left and right, and all the kinds of wine you like. And when the sun goes down, our families gather round. A people so renowned, and it's how Passover is done.
I hear them every day. My wife and all my kin are telling me I'm going gray. But little do they know it's from the yearly heap of chores. She tells me that there's always more. So I'm back here at the store.
And even when mom answers no, or when the Seder's moving slow, my macaroons and crispy oats are all I need. And when we're all engaged in song of generations going strong, that'll be the thing to push us on and go, go. Grab a car,